Hello again, and today we're going to have a look at my settings on Simplify3D. What I'll do is I'll also attach full screen versions of these in the description. Okay, so let's go through it. So first off, I've got a model here, the standard 3D Benchy, which you use to test out to make sure your print is going to print good stuff. So let's do edit process setting. Okay, so first, this is I've got two extruders on my printer, so the right and the left. So this one's specifically for the right printer, and it's hooked up for PLA, and as you can see, you've got different types, fast, medium, high. I usually print on medium to get good prints. If it's really something detailed, on high, obviously. So here's the infill. The infill is basically how much, how solid, how dense the print. So if it's 100%, it's basically a piece of plastic. If it's 50, it's 50% hollow, half hollow. And if you want something just to bash out really fast, to test, 5% is probably the best one you can do just to get something that doesn't fall apart. So 5%. Okay, so include raft. I generally don't use a raft unless it's something really intricate. I usually manage to get away without doing that. And generate support. If you have an overhang or something, you've got some kind of something that sweeps in, so use a generate support. Okay, so let's have a look at the right extruder. So the right extruder, I've got my nozzle diameter of 0.4, which is pretty standard. Extrusion, manual, the usual things on that. Layer, so this is the important bit. On my layer, of my first layer width, I've increased it to 250. Now what I've done is, by doing that, is I've increased it so that the first layer really gets in contact with the base. So it's denser, it puts out much more filament, so it kind of glues itself to the print bed. I'm using painter's tape on the bed to do that, and it seems to work well, and it pulls off really easily. Okay, skirt brim, don't tend to use that. Raft, I do for detail prints. Infill, we talked about. Support, generate support materials if we need, so we can do that, and you can see that it turns it on and off. Temperature. Now temperature, I'm printing PLA, so I don't really need a heated bed, but with my Flash Forge, I've worked out that if I set it to 0, it just doesn't print. So I've set it to temperature of 5 degrees, and then I kind of get away with it. The only thing is there's a kind of little bug where it puts it in, and you got when you start it up, you get 100%, and then you can't edit the thing here, change it, and then save it. It'll look, oh yeah, I've saved it, but you'll close this window and you'll see it's still 100 degrees if you changed it from 100 to 5. So you've got to remove the set point, add the set point, and then go to it's weird. You go to another one, and then hit OK, and then it'll actually save your temperature. It's weird. It's a little hack thing with it. Okay, so anyway, moving on. Right extruder. So I'm printing PLA. I've worked out that 220 is a pretty good temperature for it. Left extruder for this one, I've got 0 because I'm just printing with the right. Next one, fan speed, got it at 90. I could set it 100 or 70, but 90 seems to work pretty well. Bridging fan speed override, 100%. G-code, these are the settings I've got. I've got a flash forward, so It's a clone of a MakerBot, so we use the MakerBot Sailfish firmware to generate the files. Scripts, those are the scripts that Simplify puts in. It does a nice bit where it before the print, it wipes the extruder, so you get that kind of blob on the side of the print bed, and then it wipes it off, and then moves and starts printing. It's pretty neat. Speed. So the default printing speed. Aha. So so this one I've messed with. So I've tried printing at 3200. And that works well, although your which if you're printing something detailed, you can do that, and it actually works really well. However, the estimate on the time is off. So if you build something in Simplify and you send it to the printer and it says, okay, it's going to take 6 hours, if you put down, lower the default printing speed, then those 6 hours will turn into 8 hours or 9 hours. It doesn't really account for the change here. So what I've actually done is, I think the default printing speed is 3600, so I've knocked it up to 3800. I've noticed that doesn't actually affect the print, so yeah, I'm going with that. Okay. Next up, use bridge fill. Yeah, I think that's basically it. Only retract when crossing open spaces. Force retraction between layers. Avoid crossing outline for travel movement. I've heard people turning that on and off. I'm going with off. Okay. And yeah, and that's it's basically my setup. It's not super complex, but yeah, it seems to work quite well. Like I say, for ABS, I increase the temperature and I turn on the heated bed, and yeah, and that seems to work. But it's all really like you get it and you try it, and then you try something else. So yeah. Okay, and that's it. Okay, hope you enjoy this, and if you do, please like and subscribe. Thank you.